Again, this is Genevieve from the blog gracefullyhome.com, and today it is a snow day here in the Hollow. I'm here with our youngest and we are up at the pond and it is cold. We homeschool, so we're able to just say, okay, we're gonna take the day off and enjoy the day. So we've got a fire going on inside. We kind of finished up our homemade hot chocolate, so I'm gonna be making some more of that. I'm also going to be making some sauerkraut, and then I'm going to also be sharing some of our organizational tips and some of the tricks that I have learned along the way. So I hope that you can join us. Making sauerkraut is nothing new. It's not even very difficult. It just takes a little bit of patience and some arm muscles in squeezing out the water that's already in the cabbage. And that takes a little bit, about 10 minutes, but once it's done, it's so simple. All you need really is the cabbage and some salt, and we use Himalayan sea salt, and then maybe some weights to keep the cabbage submerged under the water so that you kind of decrease the chances of mold growing. And then you just sit and wait, and well, you don't sit and wait, you continue on with your life and you wait until it's ready, which takes about, I guess, about 2 weeks-ish. And you can test it and see how fermented it is, and if you like the taste, if you want it to go a little bit longer, you can do that as well. And when it's done with the fermenting process, you just cap it and put it in the refrigerator and then enjoy on a daily basis. And it's good for your gut health, it's good for your immune system, and it just is overall a very delicious side for a very simple made from scratch meal. One of the things recently that we ran out of was our homemade hot chocolate mix. And normally we just make our hot chocolate with just regular milk, and then you add your cacao powder. You can also use like unsweetened cocoa powder. And then we also add some powdered sugar in there. You can also add some other type of sweetener if you don't want to use regular cane sugar. But I needed a way to keep it shelf stable so that we could give it away during the holidays. And so I went ahead and looked in my recipe binder, and I found an old one that we used to use, and I'm going to show you how to make that today because it's super simple. If you're not wanting to just make one and measure out and everything, and all you want to do is just basically put like a scoop or two into a mug and then put your hot water or your hot milk on top of that. If you want something like that that's quicker, then this is a recipe for you. I know we're not the only family out there trying to purge and organize our homes. Start of the new year is always a great time to do that. I like to kind of do it all throughout the year, and that way we're making sure that we're only keeping the things that we really love and that are useful for our family. Many of the rooms that we have now, they are finally feeling like ours, and it feels like home. And that took us several years. We've had the property for 8 years, but we've lived here, I think, about 6. And so it really was not something that was overnight, like when you're watching a YouTube video or you're seeing something on Instagram or Facebook where it's just like before and after, and it's quick, and you know, people are turning over their homes very quickly and selling them, and that is not the case here on the farm. We're kind of here for the long haul. And so there are a lot of spaces in our farmhouse that still need a lot of work. And at first I was just very impatient. I wanted it to happen like now. At a point, my husband just kind of said, you know, sometimes just cleaning something or organizing something can make a big difference. And so I thought, well, yeah, that's true, because there were some areas where I just didn't even want to touch. I took what he said to heart, and then I started just taking one like problem area at a time. And now I love coming back home to our farmhouse, and there are a lot of projects that we still need to do, but in the areas that I have made the time to just clean, organize, and just set it up where it feels nice and homey and welcoming for the family, it just feels like home now. And so if you are in the same situation where you don't have gobs of money and you can't hire people to just make things happen, these tips may help you love your space in the interim as well. Another problem area that really was not serving us was this armoire in the corner of our family room. And it has seen a lot of different uses over the years. We've had it for, I guess, over 20 years. We've been married 22 years, but we bought it when we moved into our first home that we bought together, and it has gone through some different changes. We used it as like a little mudroom closet, and my dad had made some shelves and put a coat rack on there so that we could put our winter jackets there. And then we had some boot trays in one of the sections, and so the little kids, their boots were in there, and it has served us really well. And so in the last several years we've used it as a computer armoire, which is what originally was made for, and I'm just so happy with the way that this turned out. And it's a little thing, but it makes my job as the homeschool teacher so much easier, because now our printer, which used to be kind of out and it would get really dusty and it was just really kind of massive, now it is neatly placed in its spot in the armoire. And my husband did a really great job with adding the little casters, or I'm not sure if they're called casters, but it's basically like those drawer styles or something like that, and it just pulls out like a little shelf, and it's so user friendly now, and I don't have to keep going back and forth to the mudroom, to my desk, to the little desk over here. Our older ones, they have desks in their rooms, so I'm kind of going up and down the stairs. And so this armoire and the way that it is now, it is really saving me a lot of time. So let me show you what my husband did. He added this shelf because this actually was the shelf, but he beefed it up because this was sagging from all of the books that we were putting on here, and also our binders. And so we have a little bit of our filing type of folders here, some of their curriculum here, as well as the teachers' keys. And then we also have this space now, which before, this is where the laptop would be, and it was just really kind of cluttered and there wasn't a lot of space for them to work. And so what we did was we just made this kind of like extra supplies with my blogging binder, and then a little inexpensive lamp, an inexpensive ceramic cup for pencils and pens. There's a little coaster that I made, and then underneath here, the huge printer that we have. And it is really great because it comes out, and so if we need to use it, we can easily lift it up, use it, and when we're done with it, we just push it gently back in place. And then the pull-out desk has the laptop, it has the little disc for their math disc, a little clipboard for scratch paper, and then the mouse, and it slides back in when they're done. We have an old chair here, and they just pull that up. They do their lesson, and then they just kind of push it back here in the corner. When we revamped our armoire, we needed a place to be able to store our games and our puzzles and our cards. And this trunk that we had, I had some of their homeschooling supplies in here. I went ahead and removed those, put them in the armoire, and then now we're able to use this as a coffee table as well as a place for all of those things. We have our backgammon, there's some bingo in there. We rarely lose pieces because they know exactly what little container it goes in, and they're all labeled. So the sun is going down and there's only one window in this room that we call our library, but it's really also our TV room as well. And so we don't have cable, but we do have a lot of DVDs, and we also have Amazon Prime. So if we watch, it's in this room. We had a few items that didn't fit in the trunk downstairs, and so I went ahead and purchased this wicker basket. This was from Target, and I just ordered it online. But it's nice because it doubles as a coffee table, just like the trunk downstairs. Some of the things that were in here, they don't play with a lot, but if they do want to play with it, it is all nice and neat and corralled. And I just purchased these really inexpensive little shoe boxes with the lids, and then also these little jars from the Dollar Tree. And so all the little pieces that maybe will get lost and then makes playing a game, you know, not very fun, I went ahead and corralled them all together, and that way the kids know if they play with it, they can easily put it back in place. This one just has some puzzles, and then I also purchased this style for other types of puzzles, like these little wooden ones that's kind of like a memory game. And these are all, like I said, very inexpensive. Normally I don't really like to buy things that are super cheap that I know are not going to last, but these bins, they actually have held up really well for being something that was just $1 at the Dollar Tree. And so since we live really far from a lot of the regular stores, I do utilize the Dollar Tree at least for organizing, and I think it's really great because it's budget friendly, and then it's something local that we can actually get to in just about, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes. Space underneath the seat, I was able to organize it just a little bit better where it would fit some of the puzzles, and I just kind of stacked them up on the back side, and then some of like their Play-Doh, as well as their Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head. And I have found that just by being able to have a home for all the different things, that it makes it easier for the littles to also be able to help organize. Because we do not have cable and we do watch a lot of videos, we have quite a collection. And so we can't do a lot of streaming because our internet's really slow here in the Hollow, but we had a lot of these little containers. And a couple of years ago, I saw a friend, Sarah at She Holds Dearly. She had switched all of her DVDs from cases like this into smaller little plastic sleeves. So I went ahead and ordered a bunch of them, and I started to consolidate. And I also purged any videos that we didn't watch, or maybe, you know, we didn't really care for it once we did get it. And I love that we can take something that would be like a very large stack, and it would take a lot of space. Now we're able to consolidate and put it into these little bins that we got from Lowe's a long time ago. Also, this little CD case, you probably know it. It's like almost like you're traveling back in time. These can be really messy. They can also start to come apart like this one has, and we've had this forever. And so I am slowly transferring these DVDs to these sleeves, and eventually I will have them all just kind of organized. But one other thing, I don't know if your kids still play with Play-Doh, but mine do, and especially the little ones. And I love this case. I saw this one, I think it was Carissa at 1+1+1, and she is a homeschooling mom. She used to be an educator prior to being a homeschooling mom, and she came up with this cute little printout. It says Busy Hands, and it's has the Play-Doh. She used this container, and I'm not sure what this container normally is for, but you can see how organized it is. And I had just like purchased all the different little cookie cutters, and there's little animals, and then there are Play-Doh, and then the little tiny little accessories that they use, and it all fits in here except this one. This is the only one that doesn't fit in there. But it just keeps it all nice and organized. They know exactly where to put it. If they want to, I typically will have them bring this down to the dinner table, because that's the only real table that we have that's big enough, and they will just put this on the table and they will have fun with it. And then when they're done, they just put it back in here and then bring it upstairs, and it just goes underneath the window seat. And that's one of the ways that we keep things pretty organized. Now the sun is really going down, so I think I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead, and hopefully you gained some easy tips and ideas on how to organize for the new year. It doesn't have to be something that's crazy where you have to revamp the whole house. It just takes a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of purging, and then thinking about how you use the space, and then organizing it to fit the needs of your family. I hope that helps. Thanks for following along, and if you are new to our channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button for more inspiration for holistic living through back to basics for the home, heart, and health. See you next time in the hollow.